a fat man, I'm Batman, I'm Kevin Smith.
Oh, you took my mic. I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey! I had to find mine as well.
Hey.
Thank you for waiting. We are starting the show here at the Scum and Villainy Canteen on Hollywood Boulevard here in Hollywood, California. Put your hands together so the folks know you're real at home. As I look at my make-pretend watch, we are starting the show about 45 minutes late, and I only have myself to blame. I will try to blame Marc Bernardin. At 8:15, Marc Bernardin texts me and says, "Are you coming?" And I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I forgot, man. Holy shit. Because I was watching Chappaquiddick on iTunes and shit like that.
Which is not that great of an excuse, but
I know, which is weird because I knew the ending already too. So like I was still dove in, and then he told me, he was like, "We're doing a fucking show, idiot." And I was like, "Oh shit." So I got dressed and fucking came over. I was sacked out eating pita and hummus bread and shit like an Israeli motherfucker, and still got dressed so fucking quick and got over here. So
and it's my fault because I just should have texted you earlier.
That's it. Yeah, it's your responsibility to get me here on time. So as
you had one job.
As a way of saying sorry, everyone that leaves, JC or Andrew, somebody will hand you a signed 8x10 of Kev. Yes, thank you. That's. See, this is, now I feel like Ted Kennedy. I did something bad and people are like, good boy. Don't reward that shit. Be like, next time, get on time, fuck. Thank you, I tried. He didn't, that's the fucked up thing. You're watching that movie, it's like 2 hours. You're like, dude, make the call. I mean, spoilers. Make the call and shit. He don't make the call. So me bringing autographed 8x10s is me making the call. This analogy fell apart a while ago.
It's point of interest. Who's he calling?
Go ahead.
Who is he calling?
He's got to call the authorities to tell them that he flipped his car and there's a woman
killed a lady
drowning. Yeah.
Okay.
Who, when you watch the movie, and you know if you read history, but that's fucking boring. But if you watch the movie, she was alive for a long fucking time. Like he could have got her out if he just would have called anybody. There's a diver at one point who's like, if somebody had called me, I could have got her out in 25 minutes. And you're like, holy fucking shit, man. Then we land on the moon and everyone forgets about it for like 2 minutes. But then people are like, hey, didn't Ted Kennedy kill somebody? And then that's where the real movie kicks in and shit. Spoilers. So I was knee deep in that shit, but it's not nearly as fun as coming here. This is one of my favorite things in the world to do, so I'm glad that you texted me. I just wish you texted me a little earlier.
I'm sorry.
I brought 8x10 sign for everybody. What did you bring, Mark?
I brought Kevin Smith, Kevin.
Yes, good point. Oh my God, excellent point. Without Mark, you would have just had Mark tonight.
Hi, guys. Let me tell you a story, Snoochie Moochie.
What have you been up to? Tell me about your week. This is normally when we do this, we've already filled each other in the back alley, which sounds completely homoerotic. That's where our green room is, in the back alley. But we've already filled each other in. But this time, I'm literally like, I have no idea, man.
What did you? Well,
I'm going in dry. Hit me.
I've been working on this television show.
I saw a lovely little Instagram. I know it's a different TV show, but I saw an Instagram of you. You put up a billboard for Castle Rock.
Yeah.
It says "Spotted in the Wild." I like the image.
Yeah, the image is cool. If you see the up and down poster of it, it's purposely designed to look like an old Signet paperback cover.
Right.
You know, like an old Stephen King book, basically.
That's dope.
Like that. It's got the same fucking font and the whole thing.
Yeah, oh my God, it looks like Nate's wearing a Salem's Lot t-shirt. It does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
But a haunting image. Like, it's, whoever markets, hats off. Because right away I was like, that's fucking intriguing.
The Hulu team is killing it, man.
Is that the opening episode, or is that just an image?
It is just, there is a moment where somebody jumps off a roof, but that is not a specific thing.
Right.
It's just kind of haunting and evocative. But yeah, it was super fucking weird to be driving down Cahuenga. Like, oh shit, there's a TV show that I did. And then that day that I saw it was the 7th anniversary, thanks to Time Hop, of when I first encountered an Alphas poster in the wild, which was the first show that I worked on. So 7 years to the day, I saw the poster for a show that I did in the real world.
Twice.
So
7 years from now, you'll get another job.
I mean, that's the trend, you guys.
That's an awesome feeling, man. I don't really work on shit that ever gets put on billboards or bus stop ads or something like that. But the few times it had happened, I was like, oh my God. Because we're kids who grew up in the outdoor age of advertising. Now people get their advertisements like right on their phone or when they're looking at fucking Facebook or whatever the fuck. But for us back in the day, if you were on a billboard, you were fucking famous. It was huge and shit. And that never goes away. Still to this day, when I drive around Los Angeles, I'm always doing this shit like fucking the dude in Goodfellas looking for a helicopter and shit. But I'm just always just trying to see the billboards. So much so my wife's like, keep your eye on the road. I'm like, fuck you, I moved to LA for the billboards. I don't know why I was yelling to my left. She's in another car apparently, but really I should go out to my right. But billboards, man, are a big fucking deal.
Especially being like a New York kid, like going into Manhattan, going into Times Square and seeing like larger than life. There's fucking Schwarzenegger astride the world like a colossus.
The giant Batman symbol that was in Times Square in 1989, like leading up to the release of the first Batman. Yeah.
And LA is good for that because there's a lot of egos that need stroking. And so those are ultimately the only reason there are billboards anywhere in Los Angeles. Just so that executive or that director, that writer can drive, that's my fucking movie.
You're not fucking wrong, dude. I was at Disney this week, and for fucking 4 blocks around Disney, you can't fucking not run into an Ant-Man and the Wasp poster. And I'm like, well, they must feel very good about this. Like, they've sold tickets to themselves. Although I will say that fucking movie looks phenomenal. The trailer looks phenomenal. The reviews so far have been great. And I saw Peyton Reed said something in the press today, which I was like, oh, shit. Like, it wasn't like, ooh, this is gossipy, but it is kind of inside baseball. And it made me go, like, it reminded me of what happened when I saw Civil War. He talked about how he did Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. And then in Civil War, they did, spoilers, Giant Man. Mm. And he was thinking that he was going to get to do that in the sequel to Ant-Man. But they did it in Civil War first, and you can't, what are you supposed to say? Like, you can't fucking do that? They're like, there are toys, bitch. Like, you know, we do whatever we want. So they did Giant Man in Civil War before he could do Giant Man in the Ant-Man sequel. And then they were going to introduce the Wasp in Civil War as well. And apparently that's when he dug in and he was like, no, you can't, like,
leave me something.
Yeah, just give her own movie. Don't like debut her in fucking 4 shots in the middle of Civil War. They already got a bunch of heroes, man. Like, leave it for this. So he won that battle. And not a battle like where he had fuckers on the ropes and they were bleeding. I have to be very careful of my terminology because everything we fucking say here is being listened to and written about online and shit and always turned into something I didn't say. Like we were talking about fucking, somebody asked a question about the Dark Knight trilogy and Christian Bale playing fucking Batman. And I was like, oh shit, that would have been cool. And I went out of my way to be like, hey man, this ain't shitting on Affleck. This has everything to do with the idea of carrying over continuity. That's it, blah, blah, blah. And every article was, Smith shits in Affleck's mouth again. You know, I was like, I went out of my way. Fucking, so I guess I gotta be careful what I said. But fuck, that movie looks fucking astounding.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm on board. I'm on board. And maybe if they didn't have Spider-Man, they would have introduced the Wasp there, but you know,
they gave us enough, believe me.
Yeah,
but it's interesting that something like that could happen. Like when you see the trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp, they use him as Giant Man quite a bit and stuff. And it was a fantastic, like, well, did they even use that to sell Civil War? I don't think so. That was like their big secret, right? That he becomes Giant Man. Yeah, they released it in the Lego toy picture, and that's how most people found out. But never put it in any spots or anything like that.
Not until like the week before, I think.
And then they were like, all right, look at this shit. It's totally, I mean, that's smart putting that foot forward and shit. When we were marketing, see, I like to think of myself as a smart marketer, but I'm not at all. When we had Tusk, I was like, you can't show the walrus in the fucking trailer. And that would have made people maybe go, you know, if they were like, holy shit, that looks fucked up.
Was that a fucking walrus guy?
Yeah.
Here's my $12.
You live and learn and shit like that. So in any event, okay, how do we get on Ant-Man?
So I saw the poster.
Yes, there you go.
For the TV show I worked on. I'm working on this new show called Treadstone, so I've been in the room on that. Thank you. Thank you. The weirdest part of my week was like, because the Treadstone room is not very far from here. It's on like Cahuenga and DeLong Prayer, whatever it is. And so we're gonna take a walk as we do, like twice a day. We'll get out, we'd sit in this room.
Is that what people do in a writer's room? They go out for healthy constitutionals?
Yeah, go out for a little. Yeah, gotta stretch our legs. We've been sitting there thinking for too long, and so we're all about to go out for our walk, for our daily walkies. And one of my co-writers is like, "Is that Kevin Smith waving at you in the parking lot? And I turn around and he's just like eating nachos out of his car, just waving at me.
I was across the lot leaning on the car like fucking Ferris Bueller, man. And I was like, do you have a kiss for daddy? We were doing a remix there, watching a playback of something we were working on. And as I was sitting in the car eating fucking vegan nachos, waiting for other people to show up, I looked in the rear view and I was like, God damn, that looks like Mark. And I got out and it was Mark and a bunch of dudes looking at a car, like a Porsche or some sort of shit. And that's why I still didn't think it was you, because I was like,
he's not that guy.
Yeah, I've known this guy for years. He's never once been like, oh, I fucking have a 350 big block in my car, man. Like, he's never shown an interest in a car, and here he is fucking studying this shit. So I just kept sitting there eating my nachos and watching and waiting for you to fucking look over and shit. And everyone else looked over but you, which made me think he really is a car guy. And then finally one of them was like, I think your friend is stalking you. And Mark looked over and I was like, hey. That's where you guys do all the writing?
Yeah.
Or talk about. Are you blue skying or are you actually writing?
We're not writing yet. We won't be writing for another month or so. So now it's like the deep conversation of what's going to happen next for 18 different characters all over the world, because it's a fucking international spy show. So it's like, where should we go this week? Jakarta? Fine. How about Dushanbe? Is that real? I don't know. It's on Spies Like Us. It's a spy show. Fucking we're going. The road to Dushanbe is on the table.
They're like, don't matter. We're shooting it in Burbank anyway. That's pretty exciting.
The greatest thing that I learned this week, though, is because we have lots of conversations about like this fucking international crime deals and syndicates and smuggling and whatever. And it's always a question of like, how much is too much? Like, how much money on the table feels like too much money on the table? How much feels cartoonish?
Okay.
And then somebody told a story of, and this is for real, and if you Google Don Johnson and $8 billion, you will get this story, which is Don Johnson, when he was on Nash Bridges, was traveling overseas. He was in Germany, and he gets pulled over by the police in Germany, I guess, for speeding in Germany, and he had $8 billion in bearer bonds in his trunk.
Are you fucking serious?
Swear to God.
Are you
Johnson.
sure this isn't an episode of Miami Vice? Like,
I'm sure that's what like the fucking Interpol found. Like, are you Sonny Crockett? Did we get fucking Sonny Crockett here?
Why was what?
His excuse was, I was making a film industry purchase.
What was he buying, a studio?
He could have been buying all of the studios during Nash Bridges. Like, I bought all of film today with $8 billion.
Did anybody investigate this further?
It vanished off the like it got buried. If there's still like if you
this
Google,
is more interesting than Chappaquiddick, man.
I'm telling you. What is Don Johnson doing in Germany with $8 billion is the question of our times.
And more importantly, why aren't we good friends with Don Johnson? Got a lot of fucking money, man.
At some point, $8 billion in Hans Gruber's bearer bonds in the trunk of his fucking Porsche.
They were like, come on, man, Don Johnson, what are you, some kind of common thief? He's like, I'm an exceptional thief. Ups to Alan Rickman. All right, so I had it wasn't a bad week at all, but we announced this week, sad news for some. I had taken it a lot earlier, so like by the time we announced it, it was old news to me. The good folks at AMC, who've been our lovely home for the last 7 seasons and 96 episodes on Comic Book Men, brought us into a room and they were like, you're too old, and shot us in the head. They canceled our show. They were not shitty about it at all. They were very fucking sweet. The head of the network called, Charlie Collier, very nice guy, and he was like, this hurts, this one hurts. I was hoping I'd never have to make this call. And I was like, oh man, don't worry about it. I said, honestly, I was expecting this call after season fucking 1. So the fact that we made it to 96 episodes, like, trust me, you never have to fucking apologize for that or anything like that. So yeah, came to a close. All good things come to an end. And again, I was like, every season when they called to say, we're going again, I was always like really surprised and like, Jesus, really? Like, wow, thanks and shit. But this season was the first season that like I was like, oh, we're definitely getting renewed. I just had a fucking heart attack. Like There's no way they cut me loose after a health crisis, and they were like, goodbye. Goodbye to the real Walking Dead. And off I went and stuff like that.
You made the mistake of believing, man.
I know. Just
You
when
finally believed.
I felt safe. I was like, oh, we're safe as kittens.
I'm
But
a real
again,
boy.
it was, I got, it's a true fucking mitzvah on that network's behalf that I got to make as many of those shows as we did. Like, it's literally, at the end of the day, it's a show about my friends. Like, it's a show about some people that I always liked and stuff like that. And the fact that we wound up with a TV show that I could be on this side of the country and, you know, watch a version of my friends on TV, like, and not just on TV, but like we were on fucking AMC when it was like AMC, when fucking they were like knocking it out the park with all the, you know, premiere seasons of The Walking Dead, and fucking we were on the heels of Mad Men. That's where we got our show, Comic Book Men. They just wanted something to match up with Mad Men. We were there. It's true. It's an absolute true story. We were there for like a really good time in my career when I was like, I ain't making movies anymore. Go fuck yourselves. And everybody was like, he's imploding. He's fucking dead in this business. And then all of a sudden I had a show on the #1 network, the most watched network. So it was a wonderful thing to have when we had it and stuff. Sad to see it end, but not like sad, like, you know, fucking write your congressman, what an injustice. Like, not at all.
Come on, Netflix, save us!
So I see that all the time. There's people online going like, save Comic Book Men. And I was like, you know, we're out there in the world pitching it because we got a whole fucking library that never really went anywhere other than AMC that somebody could buy, turnkey library. And if they wanted to make more, you know, we're all still up for that as well. So it could still like find a home and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, very sweet of people to, like, you know, tweet like, we gotta stop this, put your efforts into other things. We're apparently losing a Supreme Court justice. Tweet about that. Like, that seems far more important than this stuff.
Right.
But it was such a great fucking run. I thank everybody, not just here, but at home listening and or watching, that ever tuned in for that show. What a dream come true. It wasn't even a dream come true. I never dreamed I'd have a fucking TV show about my friends and me and my friends. This is my world. They do those little montages between scenes, and it would always be like shots of like shit, like movies I made and fucking shit that's hanging in the store. The whole thing was just so cool, and so it's sad to see it end and stuff, and maybe it continues in the future. But as it stands right now, the version that we did on AMC, we gave it a Viking funeral. It's passed on and stuff. So it ended nicely. Like, you know, ultimately it's a breakup, right? We broke up. And whenever you hear like people go like, oh, we had a good breakup, we're friends. You're like, bullshit. One of you ain't friends, you know. This was kind of that. Like, at the end of the day, you know, they took it as far as they could and stuff, and we took the ride. And our show's fortunes were always tied in with The Walking Dead. As The Walking Dead audience went, so went our very late night audience and stuff. So I'll miss it, but honestly, it wasn't as big a part of my life as it was The Boys. They'd shoot for 3-4 months every summer. It was like their summer job, and I'd pop in 3 times during the shooting to record the wraparounds of the podcast. So the cast, which is of course The Boys, and the crew were real tight. They'd all move down from New York and go live down in the area all summer long and whatnot. They were a real family. So I feel bad for all those folks who, you know, they got regular jobs in other places and stuff, but this was kind of a special thing. They put together something warm and wonderful. It's weird because I didn't put it together myself. I've said many times, all I said was, hey, why don't we do Pawn Stars in a comic book store? And the folks at Original Media, which became Truly Original, were smart enough to do something better than that. They created a show that was essentially Clerks, the unscripted show. First time I saw the episode, I was like, holy shit, this is like Clerks, man. They work for a living and they're clerks and shit. And they're like, you didn't realize we were doing that? And I said, no, I was just saying Pawn Stars in a comic book
I learned
store.
it from you, Dad.
Yeah, I guess. So it was a great experience, but yeah, it came to an end.
Don't be sad that it ended. Be happy that it happened at all.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's how I feel about the whole thing.
And you're doing the fucking Vulgarthon, though, right?
We are doing Vulgarthon. Yeah, I announced for my birthday, tickets go on sale, I guess, on Friday. Back in New Jersey, we're going to do a Vulgarthon. It's a film festival that we started back in like 1998, where we just show the movies that like I've been involved with. So this year is the 20th anniversary of that, and so I was like, well, I'm turning 48, and I fucking lived through the heart attack and shit. Fuck it, I'm going to throw a Vulgarthon. So August 2nd, back in New Jersey, in Red Bank, the cradle of fucking civilization, We will be kicking back and watching some classic movies, recording some fucking podcasts. You gonna be on that side of the country
I can be.
on the day of my birth to honor the newborn king?
It's entirely possible. They'll let me on a plane.
That's true. And you know people from back east.
I got family back east.
Yeah, so you can kill many birds with one stone. We should talk about that. Maybe you do come back and stuff.
Fuck it.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be fun. All right, so what else going on? Anything?
I got nothing else in the real world. Although I did watch 10 of 12 episodes of Luke Cage. Season 2.
Shit, you went deep already.
I went deep already.
And?
I think it is, as a whole, a better season than the first season was.
Okay.
It doesn't quite and the first season is a weird one because it's so bifurcated by, you have.
I know who the villain is. I don't know who this villain is.
It's like, oh shit, the dude who just won an Oscar is amazing, and then he dies. Spoilers. Yeah. And then this other guy who's fine but isn't that guy. So the first season is really like Peak and then Valley, whereas this is way smoother all across the board. And Bushmaster is an amazing villain.
Right.
And Bushmaster. And it's
Great
also
name.
It is so, like, having grown up in an immigrant family, having grown up in a Caribbean family, so much of that feels so culturally resonant for me. Like, there's a scene where Misty Knight is going to talk to this woman whose son had just died or whatever, and this woman lives in a house and all the couches are wrapped in plastic. Like, my grandmother,
upholstered in plastic.
It's like there was upholstery and then a plastic cover so your stinky ass wouldn't fuck up her really nice couch. Because it's the one really nice couch she ever had, so do not put your damp ass on my couch. Auntie, it's an auntie thing. And I mean, talking to friends, it's like, my Jewish grandmother did that, my Cuban grandmother did that. It was we made it to the new world, we bought some nice shit, and don't you dare, your punk ass, fuck it up.
Well, you must have come from a rich family because my grandma couldn't afford a plastic cover for her couch. We looked up to those upholstered people, be like, what's it like up there, rich man?
Why's your house so shiny?
So you felt it?
I felt it. I felt the feels. And
she used her bionic arm, Misty Knight?
Oh, hell yes.
What episodes have come in?
5, I think.
Really?
Yeah, there's a great bar fight. It's her and Colleen Wing, where she doesn't have the arm.
Right.
And so it's Daughters of the Dragon, but Misty, once they got and punched somebody in the face, and she does the set you up with the jab and then follow through with the right, and she doesn't have an arm, and so she just whiffs it. And the entire fight is her learning to come to grips with the fact that she can't come to grips with that side of her body anymore. And it's kind of beautiful. It's kind of great. Like, it is so much about the learning to adjust to your new reality.
Right.
And then when she gets the bionic arm, and then it's the weird, oh shit, this thing is here, and she's not quite crunching mugs in half, but she can't open drawers the way she used to. Like, her finger doesn't fit in the trigger the way it used to. It's a lot of really, really smart. Like, that's what that storyline is about. It's about learning to kind of get accustomed to your new reality.
How many episodes? If you're on episode 10,
there's 3 more. 11, 12, 13.
God, they're still doing those chunky seasons.
Yeah, that is still a problem. I mean, not like the greatest problem in the world, but all of these seasons would be benefited by being only 10.
If they were like Defenders short.
Yeah. I mean, even 8. But yeah, 10 is a sweet spot. But Alfre Woodard as Mariah, who you actually get to hear her call herself Black Mariah, which is kind of great.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, but it's also really kind of haunting, tragic reason why she calls herself Black Mariah, which is great. But watching her descend into madness is kind of lovely because it's Alfre fucking Woodard.
Who's like an amazing actress to begin with, and always has been, and suddenly she's doing like material that you never imagined she would do.
And the 10th episode is we're reintroducing Iron Fist episode, which I was a little trepidatious because you know my feelings about Iron Fist. I was happy to report that he just fucking Iron Fist like a motherfucker. Like, everybody gets the Iron Fist. Like, he's no longer like, I can't make it go on. Iron Fist, Iron Fist, Iron Fist. and there's like, Iron Fist, open his can. Iron Fist, woo, shine on my shoes, Iron Fist. But they find a way to actually do Danny is helping Luke find his center, and Luke is helping Danny not be so much of a fucking entitled prick.
They're
kind of building
heroes for hire.
Like, there's a moment where somebody says, oh man, Power Man or Iron Fist, I ought to put that on a shirt. Yeah,
really?
Yes. And they have this big fight scene in a warehouse, which is great, which ends exactly the way you hoped it would, which is, and I don't remember this in the books because I was not a deep Power Man Anarchist reader, but they do a patty cake thing. Was that a part of the book? Anybody ever see this? It is
their version of this. What is it? This speedball.
It's a little bit
special?
of like the fastball
special,
special, or the moment in the Avengers when Iron Man uses Cap's shield as like a fucking beam emitter. Just woo! It's pretty fucking awesome. I'm like, I can't believe I just smiled the smile of coolness at a moment featuring Iron Fist.
Yeah. Which high praise. Put that on the poster.
Which I did not do for 21 previous episodes of a Marvel show that had Iron Fist in it. So I'm like, you guys, somebody earned their fucking paycheck.
That sounds like whoever did, who did this is
Cheo Coker, yeah.
Did the whole season?
Yeah.
So it sounds like somebody who maybe watched those shows or maybe at least listened to the audience and was like, all right, well, how do we improve this character?
Yeah, we got to fix this. Because if we're going to be saddled with doing the both of these together in the future, we got to make this right.
And it sounds like so far so good.
So far so good. And I think next week, knock on wood, we might have Cheo Coker as a guest on this here podcast.
Oh, get out of here!
Yeah,
really? Mark bringing the quality guests.
We might have him. We might have him in the house.
That beats my signed 8x10s. Well done. That'd be cool. Talk to him. Well, cool on one level, bad on now. I got to watch all fucking 13 episodes before next week. That's a lot of work.
The other thing we get to talk to him about is he wrote Creed 2.
What?
Yes.
Really? Let's talk about that fucking trailer, man. Oh my God! Like I'll be honest with you. Like this is good marketing. You know, movie marketing is such that like you'll be like, that sounds fucking dumb when they go into production, and then you'll see a trailer and be like, oh my God, I love this more than my firstborn and only child and stuff. And you're like, I can't wait 6 months to see that. And you count down, then you get into the movie theater, you're like, one, please. You get inside, you're like, fuck, tricked again. So generally speaking, this could be one of those cases, but I did not have much high hopes for this movie. Not like I thought it would be shit, but I loved Creed. Creed was a comic book movie, so much so that Ryan Coogler, who made Creed, made an even better comic book movie after that. Yeah, and they gave him Black Panther, and he crushed it.
Shield.
This was a phenomenal flick that made me give a fuck about the Rocky world once again. I didn't know I had any love left, but I was like, oh shit, here we go again, motherfucker. And so I bought into it. I liked the trailer. When I saw the movie, I fell deeply in love and shit. It has that Field of Dreams dad thing going for it. In this case, it's like a dad a kid never knew. So like when he gets knocked down to the canvas and sees everybody who could possibly fucking inspire him to get up, is the image of his fucking father that makes it go, and he fucking gets up and finishes it. If that ain't some comic book shit, I don't know what is. It was such a beautiful moment and stuff. And it's biblical too, which is also a comic book. So, first one I ever read. So,
pictures.
I loved Creed, and then when they said, hey, fucking Sylvester Stallone's like, yo, I'll do it. And then he was taking over a Creed, on one level you're like, well, they're his characters, so of course he should be able to do what he wants. But on the other hand, you're like, you're going to be missing that crucial element
the magic
of Ryan Coogler. That was made by a fan. Him and his friend were fans. They fucking imagine if you made a Creed movie and one day aggregated into making a Creed movie. It was made with all passion, all fire, all love. Same thing that Rocky was made with when Stallone was hungry and shit like that. Maybe Rocky 2, probably even Rocky 3 to a large degree. Maybe even Rocky 4. Rocky 5, he stopped fucking trying. So he had other shit to do. Regardless, but I mean, this Creed movie was fucking wonderful. So when they said Sylvester Stallone's doing Creed 2, I was like, oh man, this sounds like a fucking cash grab. And I'm sure I'd bump into it online and watch it eventually, but I was not probably going to go see it in the theater. And then they rolled the fucking trailer last week. And I watched the trailer and I'm like, yeah, man, this just looks like more of the same. Why are they pretending this is a big deal? We saw fucking the fight of his life. It happened and shit. And he got the girl. And fucking this story, what could possibly, and why are they saying it's just like his dad? And why is he telling him his dad died in his arms and he won't stand for that again? And why are they, and then all of a sudden the last fucking shot of the trailer is the guy he's gonna fight getting into the ring, and he turns around, the back of his robe says Drago. And I was like, oh fuck! Oh, they got my money again! That was so smart. I didn't give a fuck about this movie till I was like, continuity? I know who Drago is. I felt like my mom when she could connect Marvel movies, like she's just like, oh, he was in Iron Man. I'm like, well done, Ma, well done. Oh, it was so fucking good. You see the trailer?
Oh yeah, so like 9 times I saw that trailer.
Fucking pretty damn good. Like you got to give it to him. After I watched the trailer, I was like, I forgot Sylvester Stallone been making movies since I was like crapping my pants and shit. So he is very good at playing an audience.
Oh, he knows that shit.
And that marketing campaign, whoever said, and I don't know if it was him or somebody at MGM, whoever the fuck cut it, that said just hold it until the last possible second and then pull the giant Russian dick out. Deserves all the money in the world. They won the internet that day. It was fucking astounding, man.
Have you ever seen? I think MGM cut it maybe as promotion for a Rocky box set or something, but MGM cut a fake 30 for 30. You know the ESPN 30 for 30 documentaries about the Glasnost fight where they treated like
it was real?
Roski defeating Ivan Drago as an actual historical event. And so like talking to Russians, like, I did not care that much about the fight. But then I see the fucking Balboa, he gets up and he's strong like bull. But he gets beat up and then and it's literally, like, then talk to like some old Russian ladies, like, babushka salesman and I did really well this week. And then they go to, like, to the American guys in like the White House. It was like, yeah, we had a really hard time. Reagan wanted nothing to do with Glasnost, but then he fucking saw Rocky Balboa stand up there. It's like, you know what? Maybe we can. And it's like 15 minutes of playing it totally straight that this fight existed and changed the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark's one-man 30 for 30 show. I did not hear a word after your Russian impression.
I mean,
because I was like, that's fucking good, man.
I do way better Russian than I do British.
Yeah.
Which, abundant proof that I cannot do a British accent. But the Russian we can get to.
That was Boris Badenov good, man. Good enough for Badenov. Yeah, man, that fucking trailer, absolute fucking magic. I'm in like Flynn.
And they got Dolph Lundgren back to train the young Drago. Did I not tell you that?
Pardon me, I'm having my second heart attack of the year. Are you shitting me? They didn't even hit that. I mean, God, why didn't I think of that? Of course they would. But they don't
not
show
doing
that.
anything
No.
else.
He's like, you didn't think they'd bring me back for this one? Like, but they don't show him in the trailer.
Nope.
So smart. Because if they had, I would have been like, oh, I smell this coming and stuff.
Nope.
Wow, man. Well, that's the only way you could have improved that trailer if they showed that robe and then they cut to him and he's like, I'm back. Credits. Wow, that's awesome.
I'm going to kill another Creed.
Oh, that's fucking dope, man. Wow. So in the story, he's training his son how to kill because he killed an American. He killed a Creed last time.
I'm going to kill another Creed.
That is so fucking fantastic. I mean, I'm glad it's fake, but it's so fucking like fantastic. It's so like that's like Shakespearean to some degree.
So
Good
you have
for
to have that
Stallone,
moment
man.
where
He's
fucking-
like fucking what, 70 fucking 100?
Yes.
And he's still pulling like magic cards out of his ass and whatnot. Good for him.
I'm going to leave the steroids alone.
Yeah, I guess there's
He's
that.
a little jacked.
All right. So I guess we're done talking about all that shit.
Yeah.
Shall we start the show proper?
We could start the show proper.
With this show, ladies and gentlemen, is broken into 2 parts, and the first part is where we cover all the news, man. And when we do that, there's only one person that goes deep dive and dumpster diving, if you will, for the news, and that's Marc Bernardin. Give it up for Mark. He looked at the internet. What is happening in the world of Geek, my friend?
I'm like the warlock of Deadline.
You are. Good pull. Deep cuts.
Right?
Man. Yeah, fuck.
You remember they were making an Indiana Jones 5?
Yes. Yeah. Lucas was like, one more time. One more time. And Spielberg was like, God damn it.
Do you remember the last time?
Yeah,
Motherfucker.
Come on, Crystal
Harrison
Skull.
Ford was like, okay. Because Harrison Ford is going to star in Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
They've been talking about this movie now for 4 years, I think. It was announced in 2014.
Yes.
It's got a release date of 2020, and it's been delayed again because the script isn't right.
Again? Who's got a Sharpie? Anybody got a Sharpie? I got one silver Sharpie. I can't work like that. Black Sharpie, anybody? That's red, thank you. But I'll use that later. But if you got a black one, thank you. Go ahead.
And so they brought in the wonderkind who worked wonders on Solo, Lawrence Kasdan's kid.
Not
Jonathan.
Jake, Jonathan Kasdan.
To rewrite Indiana Jones 5.
So they're bringing him to. The problem with Solo wasn't the script or scripts. I don't know. There's 2 different versions of the movie. We only saw one. But apparently only one of them had a script, right? That was kind of their big beef, was like, they're ad-libbing a lot of
You're
this
making
movie.
this up. We can't make up a Star Wars movie on the fly.
I'll leave that right there. But yeah, man, it is. I don't know. Like, I liked Solo. I thought Solo was
Solo's
good.
fine.
And it was good fan service too. Like, if that like, here's a kid who grew up around this shit. We were all like fans of it and whatnot, and I'm sure everyone in this room thinks they could probably write a pretty good version of an Indiana Jones movie and stuff. We certainly know how not to write a bad one. Just don't do Crystal Skull, and you're off to the races and stuff. But this guy was close to the source. He was sitting at his dad's fucking knee most of his life, or whatever the fuck.
DNA is passing.
It's got to be right there. So if they're going to pick somebody to take a run at Indiana Jones, let it be him.
My hope is that they delay it long enough so that it's impossible for Harrison Ford to come back. Because I don't want 80-year-old Harrison
Spoken
Ford.
like a true fan, man. You're like, I love Harrison Ford so much, I don't want him to be in this movie.
I don't want him to hurt himself, because he would absolutely hurt himself.
He would.
He broke like 8 things on Force Awakens, right?
I know, but you can't kill him. This guy like downed an airplane and got out. He's like, I'm all right. You know.
I got this. Hold my beer. Let me crash another one.
I don't know. I say give him one more shot at it, for fuck's sake. Like, you know, if he's still here and stuff, especially because the last one around, you know, I mean, with all due respect, there's some good stuff, but like Crystal Skull was not the way I wanted to see Indiana Jones end his cinematic career and stuff like that. So hopefully there'll be like one more round of it. But you don't give a fuck? Let me ask you this. If he stopped, or do you think that character should or could keep going? Could, definitely. Do you think it should keep going?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I think I've always sort of believed that the key to a character's immortality is interpretation. Is translation. Is that, you know, Captain Kirk doesn't get to be an immortal character unless somebody else gets to interpret that. There's been 1,000 Robin Hoods. There's been at least more than 2 Darth Vaders. Like, the ones we remember forever are because we've seen different versions of it, and we get to choose. We get to imprint on the ones we saw as kids, and your kids get to imprint on the ones that are theirs. And it's a generational thing. And if a great character, there's going to be a King Arthur. No reason why this guy couldn't be as big a pop cultural figure as King Arthur. You need him to be able to be replayed over and over again for every generation that goes forward.
That's smart as fuck. It never occurred to me that, like, you know, fucking Robin Hood, King Arthur, these stories have been around for so long. They're classics of fucking literature and stuff like that. So you don't even think about your characters, but like some of these characters are strong enough. Like I mean, the namesake of the show, we rarely talk about him anymore, but Batman himself is a character that's only been around for what, 75 years at this point, maybe 70 years or something like that. And 100, 200 years from now, they'll still be telling stories about Bruce fucking Wayne. So I guess you're right. I guess Indiana Jones could just fucking
no reason
keep
he's
going.
not legendary like Flash Gordon is.
Could you imagine, like, one day some kid is like, ugh, another fucking Batman movie? I mean, I know some critics are like that now, but I mean, could you imagine, like, just being like, ugh, like how every time they make a new Robin Hood movie, a bunch of people are like, this shit again. But
I get it, he's fucking bow and arrow guy.
But you're right, it's always in the hands of the teller, man.
Like, there's always going to be a Bond, and there's always going to be who's your favorite Bond, because you get to choose. And I think that that's important to longevity. And I think that at some point there's going to have to be, because they're never going to stop making these movies, like, pass the mantle. Like, here's a new guy. Here's Chris Pratt. Here's Nathan Fillion. Here's some super fucking handsome Hemsworth we haven't met yet.
This is a fucking creature that we cut together. We gene spliced from the DNA of 2 Chris's, Hemsworth and Pratt. He is Hemsworthy.
And we had Pine just jizz in a jar, and there we go.
Yeah, man, fuck. It hadn't occurred to me. My characters are going to die with me, that much I know. But fucking these characters, and not because I want to, nobody gives a fuck. But it feels like these characters, I mean, shit, they're telling stories about Green Hornet still, and that was like a radio character, predates even fucking the TV show and whatnot. Yeah, I guess it's possible. Could you imagine writing a character that fucking lasts that long? Well after your fucking demise, people are still writing that story.
It's bananas. Like Arthur Conan Doyle. Like, we're still telling Sherlock Holmes stories 100 years hence, long after that dude was dead, because everybody gets to own it a little bit. And again, you can't, as a fan, you don't get to own your thing, but you get to imprint upon your version of it. I remember reading Sherlock Holmes when I was a kid, and now you're giving me this one, and Jeremy Brett was my Sherlock Holmes, and mine is fucking Cumberbatch, and everybody gets to have it. Everybody gets to believe in it in their own way.
Do you know that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a big believer in fairies and the world of
Did
the
not see this turn
spiritual
coming, but all right.
It's true, man. There are
Hard
these,
left into fairies.
There are these two little girls in England, or the fucking, what were they called? The Cottonwood fairies? I forget what the Cotterley fairies. These two little girls in turn of the century, I think it was, England, took a photo of these fairies in the fucking yard. And like, you know, this was like maybe one of the earliest internet scandals before there was an internet. A bunch of people in the world were like, holy shit, they fucking photographed fairies. And a bunch of other people were like, are you fucking crazy? Like, clearly they're cutouts from a greeting card. That's what they look like, two-dimensional images. But turn of the century or whatever, it's in old-timey days to say the least. And nobody had seen a fairy before and shit. So, you know, there was nobody to say it wasn't. So a bunch of people believed in it, including Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He went and met with the girls. Cotterley fairies, is that their names? I forget. He went and met with them and stuff, wrote about the fairies and said, I've seen the pictures and this is absolutely fucking true. And then one day the girls got older and they were like, no, we just cut those out. We drew them and cut them out and took pictures. And Arthur Conan Doyle was like, well, I did do Sherlock Holmes. I remember that part. Like,
Yeah, and I spent like 50 years as a coke fiend, so don't.
Was he a cokehead? No wonder he believed in fairies. He was like, yeah, I believe in fairies.
They're so green.
I'm seeing them right now. Anyway, what else we got?
Lucasfilm. There was a rumor that came out. I think it was last week. Lucasfilm was abandoning all hope in the spin-offs of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I believe Collider wrote that story saying
Yeah,
that,
so
hey man,
hard
fucking, they're
stop.
scuttling everything. Things are getting scuttled, motherfucker.
Right.
The word scuttle was used
A
quite
lot
a
of
few
scuttling.
times. Yeah.
More scuttling than I've heard since like Hunt for Red October. Like the captain is scuttling the ship.
That's right, they did say that.
That's the one time I'd ever heard the word scuttle.
What does it mean exactly?
It means to sink at the bottom and destroy.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Why not just say, he's sinking the fucking ship? Like,
Because-
why come up with another word? A kinder word, a cuter word
A
even.
cuter word. It's like a fish, a scuttlefish.
Captain's scuttling. Like, oh, let's join him. Like, no, you fucking idiot, he's sinking the boat. Oh, I didn't know what scuttling meant.
I thought there'd be music. But yes, in the wake of Solo's underperformance.
Yes. Collider was reporting that Disney's pissed scared
Right.
and they're changing everything. Is there a new report?
The new report is that they haven't abandoned everything,
Right.
but just that they are sort of re-examining for real what's going to happen.
Do they want my advice?
I think they do. The internet would love your advice.
Let's see. I would not scuttle as much. I would keep going with these standalone Star Wars movies. Number one, you got yourself a big, fat, expensive IP you got to pay off over years. And they've done a lot of it with those saga movies with Force Awakens and with Last Jedi. But you got to keep going. They didn't buy this shit to put it on a shelf, so you got to keep making more movies and stuff. So you make Solo and it doesn't work. Well, kick back and look at that thing. Why? Well, you made two versions of the movie, so that's probably not a good thing. But number two, you took a character that we all know. He's a human being. Guy that played him, still alive. Yeah, and they killed him in the other movie and shit, but you could have told a Solo story about him like 2 minutes before he got killed. How about you tell the story where the kid grows up and he's like, fuck you, Dad, and Kylo Ren takes off and shit like that. And Han's like, fuck this, and leaves Leia. Like, you could have made that Solo movie. And I'm not saying they were stupid for not doing it, but I think if you had made a Han Solo movie with Harrison Ford, as we saw with Force Awakens, everyone would have fucking shown up, because that's who Han Solo is. So when you make a Han Solo movie and you're like, this kid's Han Solo now, you know, the core audience is like, well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. What I would have done and what they should keep doing is making these standalone movies. And again, fuck, I got to say this for the internet. I love that. I love that movie, and I don't think it was a bad idea that they made that movie. Please let that be the headline. But that being said, like, you know what is a home run idea? A Boba Fett movie. One of the reasons why is because it's a fucking outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's sitting there going, he better look like he looked like in that one fucking prequel, man. Like, They just want to see the outfit doing cool fucking things, him being a badass, throwing IG-88 for a fucking scene or two and shit like that. There's so many things you could do because he's ageless. That fucking suit's ageless. You'll never be like, we got to get somebody else to wear the suit. You can, but it won't matter because you don't fucking know who's under it and shit. And if you want to go nuts, fuck, hire somebody to play Boba Fett. Where they're like, you know what, man? Who's the most popular movie star in the world at this point? Somebody that who? Chris Pratt? Bang. They're like, guess what? Boba Fett is Chris fucking Pratt. And everyone's like, but wait, he was some random Australian guy in Lucas's trilogy. He's like, fuck him. You know, this Chris Pratt from now on and shit. It would be amazing, but you don't even have to fucking do that because it's a cool outfit. It's like making an action figure movie. It's like looking at fucking Iron Man. So definitely make your Boba Fett movie. You're not going to lose money. You can't fuck up a Boba Fett movie. Make a Yoda movie. You can't fuck that up. He's a little puppet. He's a special effect. And he'll never get older and he'll never die, just like Cocoon. So, you want to make a Wookiee movie? Give us a planet of fucking Wookiees, because he looks the same in every fucking movie. There's so much Star Wars IP that you could fuck with that everybody would be like, here, take my money, take my money. I just think they picked the wrong one to begin with. I don't think it was like, what a fucking idiot they are for doing it. But I think in retrospect, like maybe you expand the universe or tell one of these throwback stories the way they did with Rogue One. What did we like about Rogue One? Tied into Star Wars. And hey, there's some fucking guest spots. There's a cameo from fucking Princess Leia. There's a cameo from fucking Dr. Evazan and shit like that. Stuff like that. But it told a fucking story that stood alone, and it didn't like take any characters that you knew and loved and recast them. So I just think Solo was a tricky proposition. It also came, 6 months after Last Jedi? Mm-hmm. Hopefully what they learned from that too is like, just wait a year to year with a Star Wars project. Like you don't have to do 2 in a year. You'll make people wait and anticipate it more if you just do what they do. I don't know if they can Marvelize that world yet. I'll take a Marvel movie every 6 months. I'll be honest with you. I'll take a Marvel movie every 6 minutes if they'd give it to me and stuff. But that lends itself to that episodic narrative because there's a zillion fucking comic books you could take source material for, and they've been telling these stories of these characters for eons. Star Wars, there's a canon of 3 movies that we've all been kind of spinning off of, or they've all been spinning off of for a while. So 1 a year is fine. I'm sure they're Disney sitting there writing this down going, well, the fucking one guy from Jay and Silent Bob says 1 a year is fine. And maybe that's what we should do. But 1 a year seems to be fine. Cramming them too close together, they're going to have a car wreck like they have with Solo, where you never want people shitting on Star Wars or yelling from the sidelines like, you fucked up. Like, it can't be that. It's a legacy brand. It's an American fucking product, right? Like fucking baseball and apple pie and fucking like goddamn Star Wars, as American as it gets and stuff. So, you know, fucking, it has to be. It's true. I wasn't filmed in America, but well, the guy who made it was an American, so it counts. I guess.
Half the people have accents, but
we just all want the best for Star Wars, right?
We
and
do.
Maybe that didn't fucking, you know, maybe Solo made people think like, oh shit, we're in trouble, but I don't think so, and I don't think they should pull back on the reins or I don't know what you do. I've never ridden a horse. I don't think they should slow the horse down. I don't think they should speed headlong into like, we're fucking making, see, they could make a Ben Kenobi movie, even though Alec Guinness isn't around, because we had 3 movies where Ewan McGregor was Ben Kenobi. So fucking give us that movie. And there's a movie that ties into fucking, like, not just the classic Star Wars trilogy, but also the prequel trilogies, which had their audience, even though everyone likes to shit on and be like, fuck Jar Jar. Like, there were a bunch of kids that loved those movies, and for them, that is fucking Ben Kenobi. So I think they can get away with that. I think there's a lot they can keep doing. Just, you can't, hopefully, like, this puts to rest any ideas, like I heard on the internet at one point, yeah, they could get Sebastian Stan to do a young Luke Skywalker movie. And I was like, they already made the young Luke Skywalker movie. It's called fucking Star Wars, man. Like, you don't get a younger version than that. Otherwise, it's like, this is the cum that made Luke. Like, look at it swim. Credits, you know. So, and I like Sebastian Stan. Please, internet, don't turn that into a story of Smith shits on Sebastian Stan. I'm just saying, like, now we've seen with Han Solo, with the Solo movie, don't touch the those three characters. That's sacrosanct. They don't want their Han, their Luke, or their Leia touched. And touch the rest. They're all ageless.
Touch them. Bathing suit areas, wherever you want.
Wherever you want. They're all, like robots and monsters and makeups that will never age, so you can get away with it.
Yeah, I think the truth of what they're going to do is just sort of re-examine the way they make these,
right,
and how often, like you said, they make these, and at what price they make these. Because they spent a shit ton of money on Solo. Granted, they spent twice as much as they would like to because they made 2 movies.
Yes.
So I think going forward, it's just, okay, these are not going to be episodes, so we can't spend episode money on these. But you could make one of these for $80 million as opposed to $150 million and just make the margins better.
That's why they'd be crazy not to let, what's his name? James Mangold, they said, is working on a Boba Fett movie.
Right.
And James Mangold made fucking magic with that Logan movie at a low budget. That was not a pricey fucking film. Now, I'm not saying like, ooh, let Boba Fett cuff fuckers' heads off and shit, although that would be metal as fuck. But, because I know it's Disney, they're like, we don't want to do that. That's R-rated and shit. But that guy's a great storyteller, man. He's always made wonderful movies. I hate Westerns, and that 310 or 410 or whatever 10, the Yuma, is a fantastic fucking film. I'm not good enough to remember the title, but the Yuma movie is really fucking good.
What with Batman in it?
Yes, that's right. Batman was in it, and the Angel. So that guy's a great fucking storyteller. Let him take Boba Fett, make it cheap, like make it for $50 million. Mm-hmm. It's all upside. Nobody's ever once going to sit there and be like, oh, I wish they'd spent more money. As long as the story's fucking compelling, then people don't know what budgets are and shit. Normal people, only freaks like us pay attention to what shit costs. Shit that we have nothing to do with, But fans do that, like how basketball fans know what everyone makes and shit.
How much LeBron James got paid to show up in LA? LeBron James got traded to the Lakers, by the way.
Oh?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Just like, LeBron?
Was he, for my own edification, he was in Cleveland?
He was a Cleveland Cavalier.
And then he went to Florida at one point?
Yeah.
And people were like, he left us.
Bullshit.
But then did he go back to Cleveland?
And won them a championship. And now is coming to LA for $154 million over 4 years.
To play basketball?
Yeah.
I made a lot of wrong choices, man. Like, fuck. Wow, really? So this is how he's going to end his career in Los Angeles? Isn't that, I'm not a big sports guy, but isn't that generally how it goes with athletes? They're like, I play hard with the city for a while. Some of them finish with that city, but some are like, I want to finish out my career in the lap of luxury.
Totally. So I can come out here and be an actor and take meetings on my off days.
Wasn't he in a movie, Trainwreck or something like that?
Yeah.
Was that him?
And he was good.
So there you go.
Yeah. So fuck it. Good for him.
And this is not meant as an insult.
That's all I want.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
This is not meant as an insult. This is complete ignorance. I know he must be a great basketball player because I've heard of his name. But is he still a great basketball player?
He's still pretty good.
So LA is like, woohoo!
Yay, we got a team.
Are Lakers fans happy or no?
No. Not over there. No.
It's so weird how it's in this room, and maybe it's just because we're this show. The audience was like a woman we met at the bar, and we were doing fantastic with her. And then all of a sudden we started talking about sports, and she was like, fuck this, and just fucking walked away. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, if we had led with Greg Berlanti got $400 million to stay at Warner Brothers, it was like, ooh, Greg Berlanti did, really?
Yeah, that made my pussy wet. I'm like,
Yes.
Greg Berlanti?
Ooh, tell me more.
Did he get that much?
Yeah.
Is that one of the stories?
No, that was a month and a half ago.
What happened? What did he get?
$400 million to stay at Warner Brothers TV to produce more shows than anybody's ever done at one time in the history of TV.
Everything I've ever done is wrong, man. I was feeling good about my life until this fucking episode. Wow, that's a lot of money. And you know what? God bless him, because he makes shows that I like, and he picks great talent, surrounds himself with wonderful people, and I'm no bullshit. I'm not just saying this because we're here or we're on a geek show, but probably one of the last things I'll think about before I leave this world will be one of those episodes of The Flash and Supergirl. There's stories mean fucking so much to me. They're so incredibly touching and fucking adventurous and shit like that. I've talked about it a zillion times. So he can have all the fucking money as far as I'm concerned.
He's going to have it all. $400 million fucking dollars.
Warner Brothers is like, did you hear that? The one guy from Jay and Silent Bob said we did the right thing. Oh God! Wow, that's not even one of the news stories.
No,
It's fucking news to me.
because it was on the heels of Ryan Murphy getting $300 million to go to Netflix.
Greg got more.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Because Netflix, I'm sure, would have opened up the fucking bank for him as well. But Warner Brothers says, well, you do 9 shows for us now. We want you to keep making shows. It's worth it for us to keep you in terrestrial television.
When they say something like 400 million, is that like the budget to make the shows, or that's just like, here's your 400 million? The way like Don Johnson drives around with 8 million in bearer bonds?
That is literally what he gets paid.
That's fucking, you know what, man? This is one of those situations where I'm like happy for the guy. Like he does good work. Like, and it's nice to see good work get rewarded and shit. So good for him.
Yeah. So that's not one of our stories this week.
It's a story to me. I'm gonna fucking text him after this and be like, "Can I have a job? Can I count your money?"
Do you need help carrying your money?
Just like I'll be your personal Don Johnson, man. All right, on to the next piece of news.
On to the next thing. You know they're making a Morbius movie, right?
Fuck yeah, I saw that, man.
Yeah,
they're making it for those that don't follow because that's like old school. But I mean, I guess he's been around. Morbius, the living vampire, is a Marvel Comics character. Guess what he is? And they're making a movie about him. Accountant.
Jared Leto is going to play Morbius.
Saw that too, man. So he's the Joker and he's Morbius. There are other actors. Do you think, number one, I'm happy for him. Good for him, man. That'll be a cool role for him to play. But do you think that other Joker movie that they talked about a few weeks ago is a reality? Or do you think it's something they just said? Because anytime they talk about a Joker movie, you know, maybe Jared Leto's reps are like, he's the Joker, fuckers! You know, remember? And so maybe that was just put out there like, oh no, it's going to happen for sure. Because I can't imagine, like, well, I mean, I guess Josh Brolin is in Deadpool and fucking Infinity War, so I guess actors can do double time, but...
I mean, it can happen. I would like to say that we will see this Joker movie just after we see the Cyborg movie.
Which one, the Leto Joker?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the Todd Phillips one with, what's his
Yeah.
name? That looks like it's happening.
I think so. But I don't. And again, like we talked about it last time, that I don't want a Joker movie. I want the Harley Quinn versus the Joker movie. I want him to be a supporting character in somebody else's movie, but I don't need to see him just be like, here's my story. Which is not what the Joker sounds like.
Especially if he's doing it with that performance.
I'm from Mayberry. I'm the Joker.
Critics are like, we thought the Joker was bad under Leto's watch.
Courageous
Mark Bernardin brings it to a new low.
I am no Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Of the Marks, I am not Hamill. To be fair. In so many ways.
All right, so
yeah, they're making that for reasons people seem...
I mean, why not?
Blasé
Like
about.
kids like vampires. Vampires are, you know, fuck. You could always sell a vampire movie. This is a Marvel vampire, man. That's even fucking easier to sell, right? You're like, hey, kids, you like vampires? Well, this one knows Spider-Man. You know. Can't believe that they're gonna fucking make a Morbius movie. If you told me fucking 10 years ago, one day there's gonna be a Morbius movie, I'd be like, no, not at all. Maybe there'll be a Morpheus movie. They spin it out of the fucking Matrix and shit, but there'll never be a Morbius movie. And here we are.
It's like, would you like to know what the bottom of the barrel looks like? Morbius.
I don't know. I would never call him top shelf, but like, you know, he's a well-known Marvel character.
He's the well vodka fucking superheroes. Not top shelf, but you'll drink it if it's diluted with enough shit.
I'm curious, who's doing this movie? Sony?
Sony.
Is it part of the Spider-Man universe?
Is kind of, yeah. They haven't revealed whether or not Tom Holland Spider-Man will show up in it.
He
For their
better.
sakes, I hope so, yeah.
I met Tom Holland.
Did you?
Over the
young Max
weekend.
Raleigh?
Was last weekend? I did the Ace Comic-Con in Seattle, and I moderated panels. And so I moderated a panel with Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen. A Vision and the Scarlet Witch panel. It was lovely. Then I moderated a panel with Grant Gustin, The Flash. It was lovely. And then I finished off with, first it was me and Sebastian Stan, then Anthony Mackie joined us, and then Tom Holland came out. And he announced, he had done it on his Instagram, the title of the next Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Ooh.
So the first one was Spider-Man Homecoming. Second one was Spider-Man Far From Home. Third one will be Spider-Man Home Sweet Home. I don't know.
Home of the brave.
Sensing a pattern here. But that was kind of exciting and stuff. But he's a nice kid, polite as fuck. British as it gets, man. I forgot. I'm so used to watching him be like, so is there money involved with this, Mr. Stark? And shit like that. I was giving him props and I talked to him and I was like, that fucking Queen's accent. I said, I've been watching people do Spider-Man for years. Not like that, kid. Get your mind out of the gutter. I said, but watching people play Spider-Man for years. I said, you're the first one. And it was ever like, well, why doesn't he sound like he's from where he's from? And he was like, thanks. He's going, but I had to make up for this accent. So I was like, I guess you got a point there. Good point. Nice kid, man. Anyway.
And this Far From Home thing is going to take place, at least some of it, overseas, right? I think.
That's what they're saying, London or something like that as well. And apparently the villain is going to be Mysterio, which rocks. And it's Jake Gyllenhaal and shit.
Yeah.
But this makes me a little nervous when they cast a super famous actor or well-known actor as the villain, because then they're going to be tempted to show his face all the time. And with Mysterio, I don't want to see no face. I just want to see that fucking bowl the whole time, you know? Fuck seeing his face. But, you know, he's a great actor. I'm sure he'll pull it off.
Or maybe this is the sweetest paycheck that Jake Gyllenhaal ever had.
I know.
So, you know what? I'm going to be on the set like 3 days total.
Could you imagine?
There's
He's
a
like,
stuntman in this
I'm going to
shit.
Robert Downey Jr. this shit. I'm going to sit in a dark room. They're going to put a camera in my face. I'm going to be like, no, Spider-Man, no.
Life is an illusion.
Walk out with $8 billion in bearer bonds. Fucking Don Johnson's my agent.
It's amazing how that recalibrates your sense of what money is when Don Johnson gets his hands on $8
I mean, dude,
billion.
I thought you said 8 million the first time, but then you're like 8 billion. And nobody followed up on that story?
I think we landed on the moon right after that.
Well remembered. All right, I'm in support of this Morbius movie, man.
All right, it's one of us.
Marvel
needs to be,
vampires, dude. That's only one step away from Marvel zombies. Yeah, bitch. The undead in the Marvel universe.
You know what we're going to talk about now?
Tell me.
Batman.
That's a novelty. Who is this Batman you talk about? Batman, a character without which this podcast doesn't exist. One of my favorite fucking characters of all time and whatnot. What's going on in the world of Batman?
Sam Keith, the
Wonderful artist.
wonderful artist who created the Max way back in the day.
Also did some Sandman, if I remember correctly.
And some Batman stuff.
Yeah. He did one of those wonderful bats with the long, pointy ears.
He is returning to the Max for the first time in 20 years in a crossover with Batman.
What?
The Max is going to fight Batman.
Wow.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that's like Batman fighting the Hulk, essentially. That was his kind of version of the Hulk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not to diminish it. I don't want fucking internet's like, fucking Smith shits on Keith. I'm a huge Sam Keith fan, but I mean, it was like, if I remember that character correctly, he's just fucking...
very hulky.
Yeah.
And like very like Lenny a little bit from Of Mice and Men. Like there was some...
Tell me about the rabbits, George?
Yeah, like there was mental illness involved. There was a whole like asylum thing. And so this 5-issue series from DC and IDW will find the Max in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wasn't interested until you said that. Now I'm like, oh, I know what Arkham Asylum is.
Hello.
Didn't the Max have an MTV cartoon?
He
at one
did,
point
yeah,
as well?
which was awesome.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Like that sort of early days of Liquid Television when the Eon
Yes,
Flux and the Max.
that's what it was
and-
called.
Yeah.
Wow, good for him, man.
Yeah,
That's kind of
so that's
sweet.
happening.
Returning to his old characters. That's real nice.
Yeah, so I think that's coming either late this year or early next year. Sorry, no, September.
It's one thing to take your character out of mothballs and play with them for the first time in a long time. It must be nice for him to be like, well, at least I get to play with Batman too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, somebody's gonna give a fuck, not just me. Good for him, man. That's cool.
Yeah. And that, my friend, is all the news that is fit to print.
That's everything?
That's everything.
We're not a visually oriented show, but I will point out that I saw a photo of Kristen Wiig as Dr. Minerva,
Really?
who eventually becomes Cheetah. I guess what's the director put it up?
Patty Jenkins, yeah.
She must have, right? She's
They've been
the one
dropping
that's
some
been
stuff.
dropping images. But that made me very excited. Of course, she's not dressed like Cheetah or anything like that. But I look forward to this movie. This movie's getting me amped.
Yeah, and I think they're bringing some footage to Comic-Con.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
That's right, because they're shooting. Oh, fuck, could you imagine if they showed just a little cheetah? It's probably too early to do that. But
I don't know, they got to give you something.
I'm so fucking on board,
I'm
man.
still fingers crossing for Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I like your theory. I hope that's the case. Aquaman is the big premiere in Hall H
Yeah,
this
the
year.
first
That's
trailer.
what they're going to show
Yeah, but I think there might be a little something
of
for Wonder Woman.
Right on. I'm going to know. I'm heading out there, of course, this year with the IMDb. Yet again, I'll be on the IMD boat, interviewing people left and right. Movers and shakers and fucking people way above my pay grade. Sitting there going, how do you get so famous? And shit like that.
You'll probably get some shiny Castle Rock people on the boat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who would they send from the cast?
I'm not sure if they finalized anything yet, but it would surprise me to death if Bill Skarsgård doesn't roll in.
I met him up at Sundance with the IMDb.
Yeah.
Tall.
Yeah, freakishly tall.
Like fucking, well, I wouldn't go that far. Jesus
He's
Christ.
a tall dude.
He's fucking
like 6'5"
tall.
and thin and like elfinly handsome, like a Swedish tennis model. He's like really lithe and like weird and hollow cheeks.
The longer I stand next to you, the more I figure out your type.
Like, is there like you have like an Elrond type here? Like really tall and ethereal and weird.
He's a good looking man. So he'd probably be the person they
he'll
bring out.
probably be there. But I think they'll have more of the cast there, and the showrunners will be there. And
Is Sissy Spacek in the show?
maybe might be her first Comic-Con, as far as I know.
I mean, but she's in the show.
She's
sure.
in the show.
And they announced that,
Yes,
and that stayed. And
totally.
Stuff like
I don't know
that.
if she's going to the big show, but she's in the big show.
That'd be amazing if they brought her to Comic-Con. I might be the only one in the audience going, I fucking love coal miner's daughter, Carrie. All right, so that's the news part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Now we come to the part of the show that's really fun for us, and we give away fabulous prizes. This is the Q&A part of Fat Man on Batman, ladies and gentlemen, where you get to dive deep into the cobwebs of our minds. What we have here in Mark's hot little hands are 5 sets of tickets.
They look like 5.
No doubt, for a 4DX cinema at LA Live. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a 4DX movie, or movie in 4DX, I should say, I'm not just saying this because they give us a promotional consideration, give out tickets and stuff. That's nice for y'all and stuff. There's no fucking money exchanging hands here. I'm just a fan of the service. I went to see a movie in it and shit. Snowed in the movie, snowed in the fucking theater. I said, oh my God, it's the end of the world. They said, no, it's technology, asshole. And so...
Is it the Rapture?
I said, where is the horns of Jericho? And shit like that. And so... 4DX, if you haven't seen a fucking movie in it, my God, go see it. Here on Fat Man on Batman, what we do, and also, first off, thanks to our good friend Brett Deacon who gave us these tickets. Give it up for Deacon. What we do, how you can get these tickets, ladies and gentlemen, is you ask a question, and if your question is good enough, deemed good enough, this is the judgy part of the show. If we... deem your question good enough, you get to walk away with a set of 2 tickets to go see a 4DX movie. Any movie you want to see at the 4DX theater playing it here in town at LA Live. But I believe the tickets, you could probably use at other 4DX theaters.
I would think
maybe.
so.
Like one in Chicago? No? No, not at all?
You couldn't
tried
take
that
those
shit?
to Chicago?
You tried to use it in another city?
No, I looked it up.
Cat ears, you fucking looked it up and shit? What kind of free time do you have, man? Where you're like, I wonder how far these tickets will travel. I see cat ears everywhere, not just here, man. Where were the last time we saw each other? In Seattle? That's right. We took pictures of the Ace at Comic-Con. My God. And I said, why don't we just do it in the back alley next time? Which sounds dirtier than I meant it, but taking pictures. So, got to change that back alley, man. All right. So what we got here is an opportunity, folks. The only rule we have is that the question you ask has to be askable to both me and Marc Bernardin. Nothing like, what's it like to be Silent Bob? Mark doesn't know. Do you? A finer piece of crafted on the spot comedy you won't see all week. Well done, sir. Well done. Okay, as always, JC, the proprietor of this here fine establishment, give it up for JC. JC got a mic in his hand. He picks the people, and the first one he picks is Big Daddy Jimmy V. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, aye. You're wearing the finest of kilts.
What? Yeah, look at you rocking a fucking kilt. I didn't even look down. I'm a neck up kind of guy, so
Oh,
I
well,
never
you
really
know,
looked
sometimes
down.
you gotta
but
look down.
He called my attention to that shit. What does it feel like? People always tell me like, why don't you rock a kilt?
You know
'Cause-
what? It's really nice.
Breezy.
So, yeah, and perfect weather for it too here in LA. So
Today was beautiful.
Yeah,
I know.
just as good as shorts, but just no center divider.
See, I like a little buffer between my thighs, man. I mean, Robin's racing, I guess, so sure, but I don't.
I can't make fun of how anybody dresses because I dress my way. But I think that looks good, man. But I think if I tried to pull that off, my wife would be like, I'm leaving now.
There's
She's
a,
like, I've
You'd be
gone through the
surprised.
sleeveless fucking hoodie sweatshirt, and I've lived through fucking basketball shooters and hockey jerseys. And she's like, you've always been a terrible dresser, but if you start wearing skirts and you look better than me, fuck you.
there was an old Sam Jackson
Fair
movie
enough.
called The 51st State, I think it was.
Yes.
Where he plays a fucking international drug dealer or whatever it is, but he's always wearing a kilt, and the only reason he took the role was because he said, I want to wear kilts. If you write me in this movie that I'm wearing nothing but fucking kilts, I'll do your movie. Like, fuck yes, bum. He's just nothing but kilts. He plays golf throughout the entire fucking picture.
Yep.
Could you imagine coming to a point in your career where you're like, I've done it all. What haven't I done? I haven't worn a kilt the whole fucking movie. I want to get kilt.
That's how he ends up in Star Wars. Was like, listen, I'll do it, George, if you give me a purple lightsaber.
He asked specifically.
Why
He's
not?
like, if I don't get a purple lightsaber, I'm not going to do your fucking movie. And it's like, well, they only come in red, blue, and green. He's like, purple. All right, purple.
There it
Is
is.
that his favorite color?
Yeah, yeah. And like, he's the only Jedi that's got a purple lightsaber before or since.
Wow. It said bad motherfucker on it? No, it did not. Did it? On the hilt? Wow. All right, back to you, Big Daddy Jimmy.
We talked about the new season of Luke Cage, and in the later episodes, there's a scene where Danny and Luke are in a head shop together. Danny admires a pipe, and it's like, oh, I like this one. And Luke casually says, oh, you smoke? And they kind of just leave it at that. My question for you is, given the opportunity to convince Kevin Feige to introduce the greenery into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who would you argue should be the smoker?
Doctor Strange.
The name says it all.
Doctor Strange should be such a hardcore smoker that when he met Groot, he should have been like, I want to smoke that. But him, the master of mystical arts, I would imagine. That would make sense for me. You?
The Watcher.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Because how boring is that job?
Seriously, like, I gotta be blazed. I'm gonna sit on this fucking moon and watch shit forever.
Yeah. You're just sitting there watching shit and you're like, what? Fucking Steve Rogers is fucking Hell Hydra? Fuck this. Change him back. Oh, he's back. Fuck. Thank God.
I got so much power!
What a great question. Fuck, give it up for him. You get tickets, sir. We got another one. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Sam.
Sam?
Sam.
Everyone give it up for Sam.
Hooty-hoo!
Take us there, Sam. Where are we
Sweet.
going?
So I'm a huge Batman fan, and I love the Joker, like favorite villain all time. And I just a while ago I read the White Knight series. I don't know if you guys have read it. It's really, really good. And in it, the Joker kind of like becomes good for a while, convinces everyone he's good, and Batman gets portrayed more as the villain. So I thought that was a super cool concept.
Nice
so
spin. Yeah. What's it called?
Oh, White Knight.
The White Knight.
It's an eight-part miniseries.
Who wrote?
I forget the name. I'm embarrassed now.
Who is
Thank
it?
you. Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy wrote it?
Yeah, really good though.
I'm checking it out. You just sold it.
Sweet. So my question is, if you could switch any superhero and villain so that they were the opposite, a superhero or villain, who would you choose?
So kind of like how what Marvel stuck Doc Ock in Spider-Man. That also sounds dirtier than I meant it. Remember at one point when Spider-Man had Doc Ock's mind or
Yeah.
something like that?
Like
So you're talking about that or just...
I mean, like, okay, so an example would be like if Superman was evil, but Lex Luthor was good. Then
Which
the world would be fucked.
they've done
but-
that, right? That's been...
Yeah, they've kind of done that. But so, like, if you could choose anyone,
Okay.
Doesn't even have to be. You could be DC, Marvel. You could switch
I like it.
your toolbox. Your
Can I go outside of DC and Marvel?
yeah, anyone.
I think Captain Hook is the good guy.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think Peter Pan is a fucking menace. A menace who keeps kidnapped children and shit like that. You know, Hook is handicapped, and nobody treats him like that. Nobody gives him any consideration and stuff like that. And he's a hell of a dresser. So a self-made man, you know what I'm saying? Captain of his own destiny. I can make the argument for Hook and Pan being a real bitch. You?
I would have gone Superman Lex Luthor.
That was a good pull.
Yeah.
That's a really good pull because I think that in Lex's mind, he is already Superman. In Lex's mind, he believes he's the hero of Metropolis.
I like the versions of the stories they do with Lex where he was the number one, like Metropolis's favorite son until Superman came along. And most of his character flaw comes from the hubris of not being able to be number two.
Right.
Those are the compelling ones. I like when he's a scientist and shit and fucking like the Lex killing suit and stuff like that. But I do like it when there's something tragic about it. Like this could have been a great man, but instead he lost his mind because there was a greater man.
Right.
And there's always a greater man. But that's the problem with somebody like Lex Luthor. He's like, no, I'm the greatest man.
I'm the one.
Yeah.
So instead, I'm going to go Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia.
Ooh, do tell,
my gosh.
explain.
Because
She's a terrorist.
She's a terrorist, and not for nothing, but
Osama bin Laden. Can't be too soon. The man's dead.
But you know, the Empire is a really well-run organization. Like, you know, the trains run on time. Like, there's the supply lines are legit. Like,
Yes.
everybody's fed. Nobody really kind of wants for anything. Once you've been unsubdued and uncrunched by the clad boots of the Empire, it's kind of not bad. And then here comes this fucking like rogue terrorists who's blowing shit up and aren't happy with the regime that we're building in here. Everybody gets what they want. Everybody wins as long as you agree to imperial rule.
The awesome thing is you don't even have to change the title. It's still Star Wars.
Still Star Wars. They're still the Rebel Alliance, but yeah, I think that's where I would go.
In a world where Disney has to keep making these movies till the end of time, make that. Like, make a what if version of like, what if fucking the rebels were bad? Look at this shit. Who wouldn't go see that movie? Like, even if people were like, this is a sacrilege, everything Star Wars was, man, you'd still be like, 2, please. Like, because you'd want to see how sacrilegious it was. That sounds fucking amazing. I like your answer better than mine, but I like your question better than both answers. Give it up first. You won tickets, ladies.
Thank you so
Excellent
much.
job. Now, JC, give us somebody else, man. Look at that, free tickets.
Yay! Ooh,
Come on up,
what you got?
take your time. What's with
what
that Playboy?
What you got?
Is it with mine? Who's in it? Me and Jason? Oh, that was the one I signed. I didn't see the cover. Fuck, I'm stupid. There was literally a Playboy there the whole time, but then I saw you walking with one, and I was like, ooh, I'm such a teenage boy. I was like, Playboy? They got naked ladies in that thing.
Did you think he just came from the woods? Like just reading the Playboy in the woods.
They're stacked in the woods. My God, that's a reference that will die with our generation.
I know.
Like kids, like you try to explain to a kid when we were kids, if you found a fucking stack of Playboys in the woods, it was like the greatest thing that ever happened. And they were like, why was that the greatest thing that ever happened? It was like, because you could see naked ladies.
There was no internet.
And they were like, well, what happened in the internet? There was no internet. There was no internet?
You had to go in the woods with your friends and jerk off together?
I just do that with my friends online and Facebook.
I used Twitch for that.
Twitch. Anyway, what's your name? Sorry.
My name is Ryan Velasquez.
Everyone give it up for Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan.
What?
What do you got for us, Ryan?
All right, so a timeless question that we used to ask on deployment was...
Wait, deployment? What
Yeah.
branch?
U.S. Marines.
Everyone give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your service. Hoo-ah!
It's okay. It's all right. So a timeless question we used to have, I have a couple buddies who are huge nerds, but we always used to ask, like, who pulled the lightsaber first? Was it Han, or Kylo? And we always used to go in debate between that.
Say, what was the question?
Who pulled the lightsaber? Was it Han or Kylo?
Who pulled it? Like,
Well,
who,
I mean, who ignited it?
Who
Yeah.
sparked it?
was it
Yeah.
Han or Kylo?
Yes.
What a great question. I'm very, well, I mean, logic dictates it was Kylo.
But was it really though? I think it was.
I'm just stoned enough to have this conversation.
Me personally, I think it was Han.
Explain.
Well, because Kylo didn't want to go to the dark side. He was kind of in between.
Yeah, he was definitely on the fence.
I mean, you know, everybody has their own opinions. I'm not about to start a huge spark.
You can. Especially in this room.
That is a true statement. But me personally, I think it was Han. Because Kylo's good. And if you go between non-canon, you know, the true stories, you know, it tells that Han wasn't really that bad. His kids weren't that bad.
Oh, the twins that they had in the
Yeah,
extended
yeah,
universe stories and stuff. But why would Han ignite it himself
To save Kylo.
But why would that save him? Wouldn't that push him to the dark side? Because he was like, if you
Well,
kill
no,
your
because what is it? The old Sith order is.
father. You're getting me though. I think you're onto something here.
Well, I
Do you
mean-
understand what he's saying?
I understand what he's saying, but I'm having a hard time understanding why the Han Solo who promised Leia that he would bring their son back.
Maybe that's how. Well, I mean, like there's bringing the son back physically, and maybe he's like, I'll bring our son back. And his point is, what if Han was like, if I fucking take the saber, like, look at the kid clearly wants to kill me, but he doesn't want to kill me. If I make the decision for him, perhaps that fucking like it shocks his system, and he's like, I don't want to be a bad guy. But then in the next movie, he's like, I'm gonna kill my mother. That's where your theory falls apart right there with the second movie. But yeah, I mean, what an interesting take. I hadn't thought about that. You?
I hadn't thought about it either. I'm still not really thinking about it now. I'm trying to follow the character logic of how that makes it a victory for Han Solo. Like
He sacrificed himself to save his son's soul. I
but
could
it
see
doesn't
that.
save his son's soul because
Well, the movies aren't over yet.
that's true.
What if, like, right before the fucking third, right in the third act of the next movie of episode, what is it, 7, 8, 9? Episode 9, Kylo Ren has a chance to fucking strike down who's left to kill? Rey. And
we're dropping bodies?
I know, they're fucking left and right. And so instead, he's like, oh, but fucking, he remembers that moment and shit. And he's like, it hurt my feelings to kill my dad. And he turned, I'm not the writer, somebody else will come up with better lines. And then he turns the fucking lightsaber off. That would totally work. Then it would redeem
my
the-
soul.
Yes, yes. An ouchie my soul moment. I could see it kind of working. And not likely, but I could see
like
that.
it's a steep dive to pull out of. It's possible, but it's
It's like Captain Sully landing the plane on the fucking
right.
Hudson River.
Like
You could do it, but holy
99
fuck.
out of 100 times you crash and you kill everybody. But
Is that
one,
what would have happened? 99?
I think that's the math they put out in Sully is like every time the computer did it, everybody dies. Every time we've run these simulators, everybody dies. You're the one anomaly here that means that everybody lives. So how did you do the impossible?
I'm telling you, you got to read the news to me. Because I didn't give a fuck about that story. But for the first time in my life, I'm like, that is pretty dramatic.
Holy shit, show me.
You're a good fucking storyteller. Fuck what he said. I thought it was a great question. You win tickets. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, take these tickets.
Thank you, Ryan. You don't want his tickets.
Your ticket.
Remember the prize, man, the prize. I had your back. There you go, well done. Here we go. What's your name, Captain?
Hey, my name's Roz.
Ross?
Yes.
Everyone give it up for Ross.
How you guys doing?
Ross like a boss. Take us where you want to go.
So, Kevin, I met you 5 years ago. I was at Comic-Con, met you in the halls. I was actually at a really shitty part in my life.
Uh-oh.
And you gave me some awesome advice about following my dreams and my passions. You basically said, just fucking do it, man. So I did. 5 years later, I launched my comic book online. I brought you a poster. It's in the frame.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Pat, post-apocalyptic taco truck.
Yeah. It's
hold it up so
Deadpool
the
meets
camera
Mad
sees.
Max.
It's Deadpool meets Mad Max.
All in a taco
bit,
truck.
Tell us a little bit more about it. Where'd it come from, the idea?
So it came from being down and out and smoking a lot of weed, eating a lot of tacos at the taco trucks here in LA. But basically, it's a story about a crazy kamikaze chef, Eddie, who's the human, his simian sidekick, Sanchez, who's hyper intelligent, just a badass. He's the silent Bob to Eddie's Jay. And they basically are cruising across the wasteland in their armored taco truck towards a trans-dimensional cook-off against Satan's chef.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fucking dope, man. You put Satan in this motherfucker?
I put Satan in it. I put a version of Gordon Ramsay in it.
Hell yeah.
You put 2 Satans in this motherfucker?
Guy Fieri is in the third episode.
The third
issue.
Satan? Holy shit.
Paula Dean in the second.
Oh my
fourth.
God, man.
Yeah, I hate on a little bit of the Cooking Network people. So. But yeah, you kind of gave me the drive. I got together with my friend who's a tattoo artist down in Anaheim, Alistair Gilgram. Amazing artist. We hammered it out and we just launched it online, and you guys can go check it out.
What is the website address for those listening at
It's
home?
pattcomic.com.
Patcomic.com with 2 T's and Pat.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic taco truck.
Oh, fucking
And
A. It's an acronym. It's like NASA.
It is, yeah. And we release pages every Tuesday and Thursday. And then we have a Patreon. So if you want to help us out, $1 a month gets you access to the comic a month early.
Fucking A. If you're listening at home, man, there you go. $1 a goddamn month.
So thank you so much for basically saving my life.
I didn't save your life. Look what you did. Look what you did. I was right. You made me smart. Give it up for him. He
You
made
are smart.
something, ladies and gentlemen.
So my question for
awesome.
both of you, I had something that was about diversity in the film industry, but I love hearing you guys wax poetic about how a film could be or how it should go. We were just talking about Creed 2. I had a couple of beers with some friends a while back, and we were talking about it after the trailer came out. How does the movie end in your minds?
Oh, what a great question.
too.
You know why I like this question? Because it gives him an opportunity to write. I like watching him write. I don't think I'd like to watch him write in real life. It'd be boring. But watching him write on the fly is always fun.
Oh, you don't know though. It's I write amazingly entertainingly.
Do you? You're just
Just dancing and shit.
like fucking Ralph playing the piano and the Muppets.
I saw like Al Jarreau in the words like "Ba-ba-da-ba-ba, some walk by night. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-doo."
Fuck it, I'm coming over to watch you
I'm
write.
just saying. How does Creed 2 end?
Or how does it actually, like, what do you see it happening throughout the whole thing?
I think Tessa Thompson's character goes deaf.
Oh, good point. Yeah, because she was losing her hearing.
I think that happened.
And she was, and she talked about like it's getting worse.
Just,
and
it's
worse.
degenerative. So by the end of it, she can't make music anymore. Well, here's what I would love to happen. I would love for this movie to end with Adonis Creed knocking out Ivan Drago. I want to see him beat the shit out of Dolph Lundgren in a parking lot.
Yeah, that's what in a park? What?
Yeah, in a parking lot. I want to see it happen like after the fight or whatever.
Oh, wait. So let me follow. So whatever happens in the ring, you don't give a fuck. But you want to see
Right, because that would never happen in the ring.
Adonis beat Ivan Drago.
Yes.
Kill him or beat him? Like
I think beat him within an inch of his life.
That is fucking number one. Bless you. Number two, that is a fucking awesome. Like, and it also borrows from Rocky. Wasn't there one
Rocky
movie
V,
that
where
it ends with a street fight? And shit?
Yeah, like I think because that would never be sanctioned in the ring, so that's never going to be the ultimate fight. But I think like almost killing the dude who killed your dad feels like something poetic there. So
That's a good third act right there. Fuck, that's a good ending to a movie. That makes me want to see the next one and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh fuck. Or take it one step further. Can I improve upon his idea?
Yeah, go ahead.
He does fucking kill him, and the next movie is him in jail. It's the fight for his life, bitch.
What?
Yes! I just wrote Creed 3! Creed 3 Supermax. Yeah.
Penitentiaries.
Wow, that was fucking good question, man.
But don't you think it would be better if...
Better than what I just said?
Yes! It can be.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what was the biggest problem with the fight between Apollo and Drago? Apollo dies.
Yes.
Rocky doesn't throw in the towel. What if the fight goes to that point and he's like, I can't let another Creed die. He throws the towel in. Creed leaves without that victory. I'm sorry, I broke you. I'm sorry.
I want to see your movie. It's awesome. Keep going.
So he ends on a down note. It's another loss, but at the beginning of the film, he's a cocky boxer. What's that? Thus starts the Matrix 4. Yes. But he's rich, he's cocky.
Is that what all the kids are saying these days? Like, thus starts the Matrix 4, motherfucker.
But he's rich, he's cocky, he's got the family started, nothing can touch him, and then...
And that was kind of like Rocky and Rocky 3, right?
Yeah, he's got the robot.
Take it to the limit. No, that was Scarface. What was the fucking song that they sang, the montage song when he was like when they showed him being rich and shit?
I don't remember.
Oh, fuck. It was this, what was it? It wasn't Eye of the Tiger.
No, that's 3. Eye of the Tiger is 3.
But that's what I'm talking about.
That's when he goes to L.A.
That's when they play Eye of the Tiger. But
Right.
in the beginning, when they're showing, like, he has a good life before Clubber Lang.
He's got a robot.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Paulie. Yeah. That's what fucking Creed 3 can be. They fight that robot finally. I like that. That's fucking dope. So there's a moment where they're fighting and shit, and like Adonis is getting his ass kicked by Drago Jr., and Stallone remembers not throwing in the towel, and Rocky remembers not throwing in the towel, and then throws the towel in. And then Adonis is like, you piece of shit, I could have fucking took him. And he's like, yo, I could have let you do that.
And Creed 3. But Creed 3 then opens up with a massive rift between these two.
So you got somewhere to go with the story.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't take that to Creed 3, right? Because nobody wants to leave Creed 2 going, oh, they're not friends anymore. So that fight has to happen midway through, maybe end of first act or something like that?
Or...
So that it gives you time for them to...
Or...
Uh-oh, it's about to get better.
Because I think... Like,
if I'm the people that made fucking Creed, I'm really scared right now. Because I'm like, these are all good movies.
Or he doesn't throw in the towel because Rocky dies.
Oh.
Drop your microphone. Drop it right now. Oh my God, that'd be fucking amazing. Then you get some of that Burgess Meredith Death of Mickey going on.
Like, and he loses the fight, and so then you've got to train for the rematch. And then...
Oh my God. Here, but we know that one. Well, here, that would be amazing. But Stallone, is his hubris too big to let that happen?
I mean, he rewrote it out of Creed. Because there was supposed to be, like, he got the cancer. He was supposed to die in Creed.
And he was like,
maybe there's a better way. That's also not Stallone, but...
Sounds like his speech at the end of Rocky IV. Maybe there's a better way. USA.
There's 2 guys in here punching each other in the face, but we could be better.
That was the speech.
Pretty much.
Fuck. That... Look, I'm in for that movie because that trailer was good. But all of this is fucking... Those are fun movies that I wish we were going to be seeing. It's probably not going to be the case. What is the one of everything we've just spoken about? I think his is the closest. I think there's a moment where he could fucking throw in the towel. That makes sense to me. Like in terms of like if you got to draw back to that movie, right? If you're going to bring Drago into it, and fucking in the trailer they show Rocky being like, you can't because of this and history. So obviously it means a lot to him. I think yours is the most fucking likely. Yours is the most fucking amazing. And mine is, well, I think the robot fight could be cool, but I like both of your versions better.
And there's also the version where he doesn't throw in the towel, and then you get Adonis fighting Rocky.
They can't do that. He's too old, man.
That's abuse.
But still.
That would be abuse, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think. I
mean, it's not like a big fight, but I think there's the, like he squares
where
off
he
and
throws a
clocks
punch at him and something like
Yeah.
that, and he's like, yo. Or, he's the
Why?
actor. Fuck, that was a good question. It resulted in lots of great answers. You win. Give it up for
Ross,
that.
thank you.
Take some tickets, and congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, we got one more.
JC, we got one set of tickets left.
What if Rocky dies at the end of Act 1?
Get into the position, ask a question.
What if Rocky dies at the end of Act 1?
Yes.
And Drago's kid is the badass, but he's estranged from his father. And then his father shows up after Rocky dies and's like, there's only one guy who can train you to beat this punk.
And Drago becomes the good guy who trains
Creed.
Adonis to kill his own son?
And Creed...
I think we have all collectively made the best Rocky movie ever made, man.
Nice.
That is awesome. Give it up for JC. Fuck.
Very nice.
What if they get Thunder Lips out of retirement?
Oh, shit. Well, that's what I figured. Once they showed Drago, you know that Creed 3, Mr. T's still around, so they could totally pull a Clubber Lang card, and they'll have me again, where I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore. And then at the end of that one, they'll be like, I pity the fool. I'm like, take all my money.
What if Adrian did actually take Clubber up?
Oh, and he was like,
hey woman,
yes.
You want a real man? I'll show you a real man. Like, yes, I do. And suddenly there is now biracial Clubber Lang Jr. out of the woodwork to beat the shit.
Don't shit on Adrian like that. Her love for Rocky was real, man.
It was real, but she's watching fucking Apollo Creed and his fine black ass running up and down the beach and swimming in the pool.
Oh, so this happened during the training of Clubber Lang?
Oh, yeah.
When he was all like, I don't know what to do. And he was all fucking yelling.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
And she's like, all right, you work it out. She's like, I'm going to go talk to Apollo.
Hey, Clubber, how you doing?
I think you wrote the sexiest version of Rocky. But I still like the other versions better. Meanwhile, we got a guest. What's your name, my friend?
My name is Bohannon.
Say it again. Bohem?
Bohannon. Yeah, I'm the only Bohannon. Just
fair enough. Give it up for Bohannon.
Probably never hear again. Yeah. Okay.
What's your question? Where can we take you, sir? Or where can you take us?
Oh, well, I kind of wanted to keep it in the vein of rooting for the bad guy, because if you look at the last few movies for the last decade or so, the ones that have really become classics almost instantly are the ones where the hero is either at a parallel or is inferior to the bad guy. I mean, look what we got. Joker in The Dark Knight, Killmonger in Black Panther. I mean, it just runs the gamut. But what I would really like to see is the story of Vader after he really becomes Vader. I mean, because they kind of screwed up the prequels. So my question to you guys is, if they made a Vader as Vader trilogy or series, how would they be able to do it, and where could they go as far as moving it into the rest of the epoch of Star Wars?
What a great question. Let's talk about what you could do with a Star Wars movie that essentially picks up where Episode 3 ends. No. So basically, you just have to make up for that moment. And so, what can you do? We've seen him be the badass in Rogue One.
Yes, the
so
hallway scene.
Before the time between him becoming Darth Vader and that moment is what in the movies, 10, 20 years or whatever the fuck? Let's say 10.
Yeah, I guess because Leia's got
about 25.
18. Bang. So 18 years difference between that period. So you got 18 years. He got all of Jesus' lost years. They cover him when he was a kid, and then they pick him up when he's in his 30s. You're like, what happened in the middle? Yeah. They're like, what happened in his 20s? Like, he had a couple bad girlfriends. It's not pertinent to the story. So you could do that here. There's lots of fucking material to tell.
Vader's bad girlfriends?
Do not that, you say. But the idea of him becoming now that he's crossed over, more machine than man, more lapdog for the Emperor than anything else and stuff, and watch his descent. We saw him in the beginning as what now feels like, I wouldn't go so far as to say cartoonish, but a movie bad guy. Where are the plans and stuff? And then in Rogue One, fucking 20 years later, 30 years later, they showed us how fucking horrible the dude could be. Yes. So let's see that. Let's see the dropping of the humanity, more machine than man, coming to terms with, I guess what you're talking about they did in Luke Cage, she can't put her fingers in the trigger and shit like that. This is a guy who's just learning to control a body. I mean, I know it was a movie and shit, but it was so weird at the end of that movie when he gets up and he's like, no, because he'd just come off an operating table, man. After I had a heart attack, I laid around for 2 days and shit. This guy got put together from lava and he was like, I'm back. So I think you could tell a very compelling story about dealing with the agony. That's every once in a while they hint at it ain't fucking pretty being Darth Vader. But you could really fucking tell the story of how fucking agonizing it is to breathe. How this motherfucker wanted to die on Mustafar and shit, and somehow he's fucking saved, and he hates the Emperor for it. That's why later on in Return of the Jedi, he whips him down the fucking thing, not just because he's like, oh, it's my son. He's like, fuck this prick, and it took him a few years and shit. So I think you could tell pretty compelling story. You get to tell. Would you be able to tell Knights of the Old Republic? Is he involved in that? No, that's
way
before
back.
him and shit. But you get him hunting down all the
The
Jedi.
Jedi. That's that move.
Clone
Yes.
Wars,
Does it have to
essentially,
be?
right?
Yeah.
No,
I'd love to
No,
see
Clone
him
Wars is
because
before
not
that.
Clone Wars before
Kit
that.
Fisto or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, there's a bunch of Jedi out there in the world that need killing, and he's the
The
man. to
ones
do
that
it.
are left over after
Yeah.
what was it, Article 99 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I like the like getting used to your new reality version of it. You know, taking a shit is not all too easy.
Yeah. Order 66. Is that what somebody
Order
said?
66?
Order 66. That
Yes.
was it. The fucking order that ruined the Star Wars movies. You're like, look at all these cool Jedis. Pew, pew, pew. Shit, there's 2 left.
Right.
I think, yes, I think we could absolutely fucking go roll on. When I was talking before about, like, these are the movies you could do, I left, obviously, the most important, easiest character to pull forward. There is Darth Vader. Once you got a guy in a mask, anybody's fucking Darth Vader. He never gets older, he never dies. So you tell Darth Vader stories, I guarantee you the audience shows up. I don't think it's like the Han Solo reaction. They're like, oh, that's not David Prowse. Like, they're not looking for the actor who played the character. They're looking for that outfit. And that outfit could keep fucking going and stuff like that. So I'd never thought about that, but oh my God, you can absolutely fucking just keep doing Vader movies.
Yeah, and
you
honestly,
can do
with
period
canon,
Vader.
you could even bring Darth Maul into it. I mean, because he got so undersold in Episode 1. He got one shot by Obi-Wan over a fluke, and they could have honestly taken him into Episode 2, you know? Say what?
Spider legs. Yeah, he's back.
Yes. Yeah, the robot legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty dope thing to see, I think.
I think there's also, you could do the sort of the forming of the relationship between Vader and Tarkin. I think there's a world in which you can build that out.
Right.
And be like, why Vader agrees to listen to fucking Tarkin. Like, what does Tarkin have over Vader? What's the leverage that he has so that the most powerful person in the universe is his number 2?
And also, over the course of 18 years, from the point he becomes Darth Vader to the point of Star Wars, like, people disregard the Jedi so much so that, you know, fucking generals, politicians and shit are like, you're fucking concerned for that ancient religion is fucking you know, fucking. So you could see in that 18 years, the rest of the Empire particularly was like, we don't give a fuck about a guy who can like choke people from across the room. We got the greatest weapon the world has ever fucking seen. It could destroy a fucking planet and shit like that. Thank God he's on our side. Yeah, that's all we're saying. But at the end of the day, fuck his religion and shit. That's what he believes. So you can watch the Empire slowly drift away from the faith, so to speak, because it is a fascist theocracy. At the end of the day, it's a government run by a pope, right? The fucking emperor is essentially pope of the dark side and shit. So you could tell that story, man. That's the story I would tell.
And there's also the
dark
story,
side pope, young pope.
the dark pope. I think there's also the story of like there's a world in which Vader is absent from the political scene for a while. Like maybe he's learning deeper versions of the dark side. Maybe it's more training. Maybe it's whatever.
Maybe it's meditation, right? Because he's constantly in fucking pain. So
Totally.
like he tries not a peaceful path, but like something like benefits him because he's in agony and shit. So he finds a little peace in life, but then gets dragged back just when I thought I was out. They pull me back in, kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's the beat where he's been gone for 8 or 9 years and then returns, and the Empire had moved on without him. They moved past the idea of the Sith and religion, whatever. They just became a fucking business of imperial domination.
I like that, but why was he away for 8 years?
I mean, it could have been the meditation. It could have been the
Is this a Dark
killing
Knight
Jedi. It could have
Returns
been-
kind of thing and
I think
shit?
it could be. Like if suddenly fucking Vader comes back and like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this guy? He's force choking motherfuckers from across a room. That's kind of where we pick it up in Star Wars, where it's again your ancient fucking religion.
Where everybody's
has no place
scared of
here.
him, or
Yeah.
they're kind of look down their noses at him, or fucking scared of him. Like it seems like the Imperials in Star Wars are like, why is this guy still here?
We all got suits. Why is Chrome Dome here? I had to get dressed today. What the fuck is that guy all about?
Before he gets to the meeting, they're like, hey guys, anyone else bring a mask? Oh, shut up, he's here. Hello, Lord Vader.
Do you need a lozenge, sir?
Yes, that was a fucking fine question that resulted in some fine, thoughtful answers. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. You win tickets. Well done.
All right.
Fuck, man, there's some good goddamn discussion. That Creed shit.
And I love that next week we're gonna have Cheo here and be like, so Cheo, is any of this shit true? He's like, nope.
That's right. We're going to be able to talk to the person that wrote it and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fun. That's one of the things I love about the show. Yeah, it's nice to sit around and talk about geek shit and stuff. But I like when we all get creative. It's fun. I never got to be in a writer's room. You have.
I have.
I've never been surrounded by a bunch of other people being creative at once. Usually I'm by myself and stuff. So it's nice when we come here and play like that. That's fun. I'll go home. I'll be thinking about this all night. I'll wake my wife up at 2 in the morning and be like, ooh, you know what else Creed could do?
Could he go to
She'll be like,
to
I
sleep?
don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, Creed, bitch, let's watch it, you know? That has everything to do with the people in this room, man. So I thank you all for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Have you enjoyed yourselves this evening? A lot of that enjoyment derives itself from the thoughts that come out of the great mind of the man to my left. Give it up for Marc Bernardin, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Fat Man on Batman for this week. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernard.
Tune in next week. Same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
do not forget your signed 8x10 when you leave. Good night, everybody. Woo!